Welcome back to Heart Talks with Anita Bahal. Today, our topic will be mental health. Now, recently, again, and we looked at what's going on in the world, we have just had World Mental Health Day. It's a day of global mental health education, awareness to advocate the social stigma surrounding mental issues. So what is all this? So we are hearing all this thing about mental health, and one has to ask, what is mental health? So mental health encompasses a few things. One being one's cognitive attitude, right? That knowledge, that way of thinking. Two, the behavioral one. And three, emotional well-being. So in similar terms, it will be for a kid, how we think, how we feel, how we behave. Now, if we reflect on this for a minute, this totally affects our quality of life. And how we think, feel, and behave actually helps us in being able to cope with our life's everyday activities. So, again, don't forget, as I said before, it's how we think, feel, and behave. So that's just a little bit of what mental health is. Now, I'm sure we have been hearing, like, it's very common to hear, well, I'm depressed. I'm having anxiety, I'm having panic attacks. This is very common words in today's society, which actually should not be common. But the reality is there are many common disorders. We have from OCD, which is this powerful urge to do something, example, cleaning. I had to talk to my daughter recently about this compulsion to do something on the spot now, over and over until perfection. Two, then we have what we call SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder, which has to deal with when there's less sunlight, let's say. So autumn, winter sort of thing. The next thing, what we look at is anxiety. We get anxious. Probably something as simple as when a certain person walks into a room. Or it could be something in our mind that we have played over and over that brings about anxiety, right? Some fear we have. It could be a spider. Then how does panic attacks come about? It could be constant worry or some new stress or disaster that bring us into panic attack. Another one we talk about is post-traumatic stress disorder, where the person has undergone something unusual and does not know how to deal. And what happens, they have this new, again, fear, and is no longer at ease, or what they will say as pre-traumatic stress disorder. So things could be like rape, incest, divorce could be very traumatic, and people who go to war. So all these are different disorders, and we look at it as common, but honestly they should not be common. So in the world, what is being done? Of course, the first thing, you tell somebody you're depressed, oh, you should get meds. Now, medication is fine. To be honest, I am married to a doctor. Some things I do disagree with. But many times, medication simply treats the symptoms. We do not go to the root of the problem. And medication comes with a lot of side effects. Now, just on this particular one of medication, I would like to share a personal experience. People look at me and say, oh, you're always so happy, you're bubbly, you're full of energy. What problems can you have? You're always singing and dancing. Life seems so wonderful for you. Well, mind you, I have had my fair share of, I would say, depression. Sometimes I'm not even sure how to characterize it. It seems to be a little of each here and there. A little anxiety, sometimes a little panic, sometimes going into depression, sometimes, who knows, post-traumatic stress disorder. I cannot even characterize myself. But what I do know is that I definitely was not coping well with what life had thrown at me. And I did at one point decided to take sleeping pills to sort of numb myself. And this was after a very traumatic experience of being diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, as I said, they come with a lot of side effects. So taking meds, please be mindful. When I did take the medication, somehow I felt at one point I felt like if I was drowning in my own world, and also I had all these strange thoughts of suicide. So please be aware of when we are taking medications to read all side effects. 2, what's going on for the people of today? Counseling. Definitely counseling is good. Counseling is amazing because there we are able to talk freely. We are able to get a sort of relief of what we can do. For example, we may be told to try meditation, to try yoga, to take walks, whatever it may be. However, a depressed person or a person with one of these disorders of mental issues lack motivation. So how is it that we are going to truly help this person? Third, what is being done is education, which we are seeing now. It's World Mental Health Day, and this is wonderful. But again, with education, with anything, just like in exercise, we cannot go to the gym one day and expect to be slim. It surely didn't happen for me. So we need consistency and follow-up when we educate people. Now, I have been looking at some stats. I'm currently here in Ontario. Would you believe that colleges and universities have been saying that they are faced with a tsunami of demands on mental health issues? Rates have gone record high in India, China, US, UK. It is like a global epidemic of mental issues. Now, when you reflect to what I had spoke about before, which were all the different disorders, you would realize that it was related to a lot of it, the mind. The mind having fear, the mind having worry, the mind having anxiety, the mind having its own world of its own and probably talking to oneself and having negative thoughts. So what we need to realize is that thoughts have so much power. Just like Blaise Pascal. You know what he was saying? Pascal was a famous mathematician, which I came across him in mathematics, but I didn't really realize he was a philosopher as well. And Pascal said that if we examine our thought, we shall find it is mostly occupied with the past or the future. Do we listen to that? If we examine our thought, we will realize that we are preoccupied a lot of times with the past or the future. Let's bring that in. Think about a student. He's about to answer his question, but he goes to the past. Oh my gosh, I am not good at this. I will never get this. He goes into the future. I will fail. But he does not focus on the present moment now, where he puts his energy and thinks about now. So we need to focus on this moment. How can we do this? In today's society, what do we see? Beauty products, glamour, fitness, so much plastic surgeries being done, all sorts of radical diets. Most of the focus is on this outer body. Now don't get me wrong. It is most important to keep our body clean. Yes, look good, feel good. It is important to nourish our body with proper food, water, and of course air. But the focus is too much on this outer body that we have forgotten to nourish the mind. So let's think there for a moment. What can we do? Let's not leave it to the authorities. Let's not leave it to the health organizations. Let's not leave it for the counselors alone. Let's take our power back and help in our home. I myself have failed somewhat my own children. Here and all around the world, whether it be in Canada, whether it be in Trinidad, no matter where we are, we focus a lot on academics. When we meet someone, we are very interested to find out, oh, what is your son doing? Oh, he's studying medicine. Oh, he's doing law. Oh, he's doing this and that. How many times have we asked, is this child happy? Is there joy? Is there peace in the home? Would you rather have an educated person who cannot face life challenges, who will one day feel just depressed who will one day wouldn't be able to enjoy any activity, but is totally educated? No, this will not be right. We must take the power back. So let's forget the past. Let's focus on now. What can we do? What can we do? Number one, a beautiful thing we can start in our home. Let's start to do something as simple as quiet the mind. I remember I did not know too much about mental health, but definitely I remember sitting with my kids and saying, let's just sit for 2 or 3 minutes and just be quiet. Even if once a week we start this in our home, we will allow our families to focus on the present moment, after which we can discuss the type of thoughts they had. Ask them, what was passing through your mind? And here we can teach them to move. Tell them whenever negative thoughts come, let's replace them with positive thoughts. Let's show them that it's their own thoughts often that make them unhappy. I can give a good example. I would literally sit and think sometimes, many a day, how unloved I felt with my own thoughts, telling my own self that my own spouse at times had no time for me. And I would replay these thoughts in my mind over and over until I filled my whole self with sorrow. Until eventually I felt lethargic. I felt depressed. I felt to stay alone. It was my own thought. So let's teach our families how to go from this from the negative thoughts into the positive realm. 2, open communication. Because of social media, because of the introduction of so much in technology in our household, many a day we talk so little to our loved ones in our own homes. We do not even know what's going on in their lives. I am amazed. Sometimes I ask parents about their kids. I ask siblings about each other. They don't know their age. They do not know what their likes and dislikes. I beg you, please, even have one meal together and have open expression, freedom to speak of any issue bothering your child, of anything you would like to talk about. Many a times I will tell you, I, as a teenager, felt so mentally trapped because of fear. Something had happened to me and I kept it a secret for a very long time because I had fear of the reaction of my parent. And this led me, I could still remember writing down over and over how much I had hated myself. So I was destroying my own mental health. So I ask you, my friends, please, I beg you, have open communication. Talk about incest. Talk about love. Talk about girlfriends. Talk about drugs. Talk about anything. Let your children feel that they can speak to you about anything. 3. Another thing is very powerful is gratitude. How many times we focus on all that we don't have, even us, the leaders in the house. We say, oh, I wish I had a nicer car. I wish this, I wish that. Always focusing on what we don't have. It will be most beautiful once a week or even driving along in the car to remind ourselves within our household how grateful we are. That way, when challenges come, we keep remembering how lucky we are instead of how unfortunate we are, and keep such positive flow of thoughts within us. 4. Long ago when our grandparents were around, I like to say, bring back them old time days. They were outside. How many people were inside? Now we are staying indoors. In fact, recently I told my son, come on, get some sunshine. He said, Mom, I'm not a plant. I don't photosynthesize. I'm like, really? Regardless of what he says, I always open the blinds. And I had a habit to always tell my kids, we must go outside. We must go outdoors. We must take a walk. It's good to do sports. Little did I know how important the sunshine was, not only for vitamin D, but it also gives us this good feel hormone called serotonin. I believe it's a hormone. Forgive me if it's not. But serotonin actually, again, helps us with our mood. So actually, after breast cancer, when I was in such a dark period of my life, and I went actually to get medication, counseling, and to be educated, I was educated further about the beauty of the sunshine. The sunshine that I took for granted in Trinidad and Tobago. The sunshine where I continuously wanted to go into the air-conditioned classroom, or I wanted to go into my air-conditioned bedroom. Believe me, please welcome the sunshine and try to get at least 1 hour daily on your bare skin and enjoy the wonderful effects. My next point will be exercise. Yes, we focus on exercise mainly, you know what? Because we want to look good, we want to be slim, we want to fit nice in your clothes. But exercise is far more than that. Exercise, again, releases all these wonderful hormones that give us this feel-good, which is endorphins, which is very powerful. 6, I would like to talk about hobbies. Many times we are forcing our children to do all sorts of extracurricular activities because of the demands of society. Oh, to get in a top university, he has to be a top swimmer, he needs to be playing music, he needs to play soccer, he needs to have high grades. Come on, look at us. We are putting so much pressure on the young people, and when they cannot deal with life stresses, we want to know how. However, we are not equipping them in our own houses, but we are pressuring them to succeed. I ask you, please, if children are tired, please acknowledge it. And please let children choose what they love. Because think of it. When I am dancing, I used to love it. I had some terrible things happen to me, but I could still remember when I danced, I felt so free. I had to think of the next move. Look, I had to think of the next move. I had no time to think of the past or the future. I was totally in the beauty of the moment. And that in itself is nourishing the mind. And the last one is belonging to a community, social interaction, being involved in community. So I will ask you whether it be being with like-minded individuals, whether it be being part of a group, whether it being going out there and serving mankind. Find yourself in a group. It does lift your mood. It gives you a safe place to talk. It gives you a sense of belonging, and it helps you from day to day because we humans are social beings. Okay? So as you would see also, it is very important for us in our home to help our families. It begins in our home. And I ask you to please move away from the focus on our body, but to encompass body and mind. I ask you to move away not only to focus on our academics, but to bring into your lives daily the beauty in quieting the mind, in focusing on the moment, to have a little of exercise, to have the wonderful fresh air. Do you know the power of oxygen? We focus on food. Without 3 weeks of food, we are dead, usually. Without 3 days of water, we are dead usually. But do you know, without 3 minutes on average of oxygen, we cannot survive? Oxygen is a healer for this body. It's a healer for the mind. It seems to clear everything. So I ask you, go out, get some fresh air. Now, to finish, I just want to say, please don't expect all this of your family without trying it yourself. I ask you not to think of what I said on a blind note. Experiment with it. Experiment with nature walks. Experiment with focusing on the holistic person. And please, develop yourself, not only your body, but develop your mind. Thank you so much for tuning in. And please, if you have any questions or any comments, or if you have tried any of these, a gratitude journal, or having beautiful discussions, open discussions that you never had with your children, even on topics that you see as taboo, please share them with me and tell me how it goes. I too am experimenting, and I too have suffered depression. I have suffered because of my thoughts, because I did not cope with it well. But today, I quiet the mind. I walk in nature. I smell the flowers. I am in the moment. I no longer think too much of the past or worry into the future, but enjoy. And I hope that you too will enjoy each day as it comes. Again, I'll see you again. Tune in next time to Heart Talks with Anita Bahal. And take care of your mental health. Bye.